friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sydney, and this video is going to be like a hardcore cramming vlog. I am so behind, and I desperately need y'all to help me catch up. I'm hoping that by choosing to vlog these next 4 days, I actually become very, very productive and do what I need to do. But this first day, today, it is Tuesday. It's around 4 p.m. I've actually had a very productive day, so let's chat about it, shall we? Caleb and I are trying this new thing in the morning where we are not allowed to open our phones or scroll, I mean, at least until 9 a.m., but we don't have a tight rule on that. The goal of the morning is to not scroll and to use that time to do anything else. Literally anything that doesn't involve social media or scrolling on anything. So this week I'm really excited to see how that goes and what we actually are able to do. Yesterday, Monday, I was at work for 12, 13 hours. I'm an ICU nurse in case you didn't know that. And yesterday was the first day that Caleb tried this method out, and he actually spent the morning writing this little like Ice Planet Barbarian fanfic that he's doing for my Patreon. There was a typo in one of our live shows that one of my patrons said Ice Planet Barbecue instead of Ice Planet Barbarians. And Caleb had joked about writing a fanfic for Ice Planet Barbarians since we read that book together. And when that typo occurred, I looked at Caleb and I was like, that's the name of the fanfic. So now his Ice Planet themed story is called Ice Planet Barbecue, and we are all anxiously awaiting it. But he actually wrote his, I think, 19 chapter outline yesterday. So we're all very excited to read that in the greenhouse for sure. Moral of the story is that he had a productive morning yesterday. This morning, we didn't really do anything separate. We just spent the time kind of talking and catching up since I wasn't able to hang out too much on Monday. So even though it wasn't like tangibly productive, I mean, it was a good morning that we had talking and planning about content and what we want to do in the next couple months regarding my channel and his work. So it was good. Then I started Patreon sprints around noon, and I read a little over 100 pages of Ruin by John Gwynne, which I'm really hoping to finish either today or early tomorrow morning. And I decided to film Sunday's video, which is going to be a book haul. Most of the books are from a new indie bookstore that opened up downtown, as well as a bunch of cool books that we found in our library sale, and of course a couple gifts from my beautiful people in my life. But what we're doing right now, I'm still doing reading sprints. It's about 4:30 p.m. now, but I wanted to bring you upstairs because this past weekend would have been a beautiful weekend to vlog, honestly. Me and Caleb had a full day on Saturday. We went out to lunch, we went out to coffee shops, we went to a vintage market like vendor sale. It was very, very cool, very fun. Had a great day, but we were really just living in the moment and hanging out with each other. I didn't really want to be vlogging personally, even though I had previously planned to be vlogging all weekend, but it is what it is. We had a good time together. But I do want to show you the vintage clothing that I bought because I'm really excited about it. I'm actually wearing one of them. I'll show you as soon as I set you down, but let's go into the bedroom. This lighting is yeah, this lighting isn't bad. Okay, cool. This is what we're doing. Cool. This is the first little vintage sweater that I got. It has a very fun like striped wrist and turtleneck combo. I honestly feel like I'm a very cool grandma who just walks around the neighborhood feeding the squirrels. That's me. And now I can be my full self in this sweater. I just really love this. It's very cozy. It fits me perfectly and it's so cute. I'm also gonna save the best find for last, so you gotta stick around, okay? Trust me, it's worth it. The next shirt I found I was way too excited about because if you know me, I am such a hoe for a button up, and this one was a short sleeve button up, so it's summer material and it is just like obviously a striped button up. Loved this pattern. Felt like it would look really, really good like open, wearing like a black crop top with some gold chains. This little emblem, isn't that so fun? Little soccer emblem. I don't know like how or why, but I was really, really stoked about this find for sure. And it fits Caleb, so he's definitely going to be stealing it every now and then, which I am fine with because it looks great on him. Okay, I got two more things. This one, I just love it. It's like just giving the energy that I exude in my inner soul, honestly. It's just like so dad, you know? And I love it. It has this striped collar and the stripe going down the side. One, look at these buttons. Very cute. And the side is this little like old vintage shark, you know? The sleeves also have the same stripe as the collar. Obviously has the old cannon patch here on the arm. It's absolutely iconic. And I just like, I want to wear this with jeans and sneakers and just walk around living my best life. I truly just love this. I know it's a little bit big, but that's a vibe. I love it. And then, are you all ready? This shirt, there was no way it wasn't leaving that market with me. Caleb was unsure, and then I tried it on at home and I came downstairs and he was like, why do you look so good in that shirt? And it was such a great moment. Okay, you ready? Let me back up for you. It has a sewn on mauve purple collar, right? It says Nashville at the top in cursive lettering. And then it has a kitten with flowers, and then it says touch of class. It says touch of class. Why? Why does this shirt exist? I don't know, but I own it now and I am so excited. Nashville touch of class with this cat with the, like, why? I don't know. Absolutely iconic and my favorite item. But yeah, that vintage market was absolutely stellar. One of my friends actually owns the store that it was set up at. She got 20 vendors to come set up in her parking lot at her vintage store, and it was really fun, very cute. And that's it. That's all I had to show you up here. But yeah, was very, very stoked about those things. Oh, I guess I could show you the one shirt that Caleb got. He got this shirt. It says Orthoflex, the patented saddle with a suspension, putting the horse first. Absolutely great. I love vintage clothing. So fun. You know they all have a story. Do we know it? Absolutely not. Like, why does that cat shirt exist? I don't know. But yeah, I was very excited about all of those new finds. This is the aftermath of my book haul video. Some really fun books in that one that I'm really, really excited to read as soon as possible. Caleb should be home in like 30 minutes or so, so I'm going to sit down and try to get a few more pages in of Ruin during this last sprint that's happening right here in the corner. Then when Caleb gets home, I'm gonna try to get him to play tennis with me actually, because I think it's really nice out and that would be super fun. So yeah, we'll see. But welcome to the vlog, to the long extended intro and thrift haul. I currently only have like 150 pages left of Ruin, which is super exciting. I don't know if I said that earlier or not. I might have, but I am very excited to continue and either pick up the next book in this vlog or pick up something else. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what the vibe is, because things are really popping off since it's like the end of the book, you know? I think the mailman is here and Avi is upset about it. But yeah, I'll be back a little bit later.
Call me out, tiger. Call me out, why don't you love? Lift me up higher above the clouds, won't you love?
Hello, good morning. Definitely have some updates for you. So hi, welcome. We're in the car. I just went to my P.O. box. I have a package I'm very excited to open. But first and foremost, recap of the rest of yesterday. I did end up finishing Ruin by John Gwynne. I stayed up until almost 1 a.m. finishing that book because I just physically could not stop. The last 30 pages or so, literally wild, and I am in so much pain. I was on the Greenhouse Discord. People were doing little reading sprints in the reading sprints thread, you know? I told them, I was like, look, I have to go. Just stare at the ceiling until I get sleepy. I slept like butt last night. I could not sleep. Was it because I took pre-workout before we played tennis at 6 p.m.? Or was it the tragedy that was the ending of Ruin? I don't really know. Maybe a little bit of both, but holy shit, that book was tragic. The ending is so mean. Right now, you're sitting on Wrath, the final book in the series, because we have parked at a coffee shop. We're actually gonna go in and read. I haven't done that in a while, like gone to a coffee shop just to read for the pure sole purpose of enjoying a coffee while reading. I haven't done that in a while. Very excited at this prospect, but also really scared to continue this story. Oh boy. At least it's a finished series and I don't have to wait a year, because I would truly be rioting in the streets. So I have a little package that I think one of my patrons, I think this is from Barbara, because she messaged me and she was like, hey, it says that a package was delivered on last Monday. So, and I hadn't been to check my P.O. box in like a week. Oh my goodness. It is from Barbara. I am so excited about this. She said, enjoy your gift. Hope you love it. Your pal, Barbara, your biggest fan. Sorry, that was creepy. Just a regular fan. That's my favorite thing ever. That's really, really cute, really funny. She sent me Nothing to See Here by Kevin Wilson. I saw this on Kayla's page. She loved it. It was in her like top of the year so far, and I know nothing about it. I just trust her with my heart and soul. So I put it on my wish list, and it looks like Barbara got it for me. This is really exciting. Two old friends reunite under the strangest circumstances. Lillian and Madison haven't spoken since they were inseparable roommates at boarding school, but now, more than 10 years later, Madison needs Lillian's help in raising her twin stepkids. The catch is that the twins spontaneously combust when they get agitated, their skin igniting with beautiful, startling flames. Lillian accepts the job, and over one humid, demanding summer, everything she thought she knew about love, family, and empathy is turned completely and irreversibly upside down. This sounds so cute. Like, I wonder if it's actual flames. Is it actual flames? Because that's wild. Okay, excited. Thank you so much, Barbara, and your little note is going forever in the front of this because it will bring me joy whenever I see and or think about it. Amazing. Wow, thank you. But we're gonna go into this coffee shop. This is the coffee shop that Caleb and I met at way back when. I've explained this before, but it's Quill's Coffee. When we met, it was at a different location, but this is their new location, and it's absolutely stunning. Very excited to go sit and read for a bit. Then I have all of my grocery bags here. Then we're going grocery shopping, unfortunately. But it has to get done. First and foremost, I'm gonna go read and relax.
When the scenery is right, go right in. I wanna fall deep within. Don't leave me hanging just 'cause I'm too proud. Whisper away my outdated doubts. Somebody do me the courtesy, dress me down.
So I got a coffee to go and brought it to Caleb. So now he is behind me and he's coming with to the grocery store. And then we're gonna go home and film a Patreon exclusive video, which I'm really excited about, and probably just work out and hang out. I love when my malicious plans work.
Not old yet I'm far too young to not stand my ground. But my ways are mine and I don't wanna change. Not even for love. Now take back all them hard words. I'm a grown.
Well, all right, we are back home now, cleaning up all of our props that we used to film that Patreon video that I had mentioned earlier. Very excited about it. It should be a work of art. Dare I say,
the pinnacle of her channel.
The pinnacle, the best thing I'll ever create.
Potentially.
But just wanted to kind of pop on and mention that I read 58 pages of Wrath at the coffee shop. Very excited. I feel a little bit more settled since ruined my life last night, quite literally. And I know I said it earlier, I would be an absolute mess if I had to wait a year for this final book to come out. So very happy that I don't have to do that. And I went right into it. It picked up directly where the last one left off, which is really nice. And I'm just actively having a great time in this world. I'm really sad that it's going to be over soon. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my mental space when I don't have this audiobook narrator to speak to me anymore, and I don't have this world to live in. So I'll have to try to find another magical world to dissociate into. But in the meantime, Caleb and I are now going to get ready to work out. I think that video took a little bit longer than we had anticipated, which is fine. But yeah, excited to edit that and get that up for the greenhouse. I think it'll be absolutely hilarious. And then later we're going to be making some blackened salmon for dinner. Is that right?
Yes.
Blackened salmon?
Blackened salmon.
Yes. Very excited. Okay. Hi, hello. Happy to report that the salmon was absolutely phenomenal. Caleb really outdid himself. The asparagus that I cooked was also very good. We are about to go upstairs and kind of settle in for the night. I am going to try to stay up and read for a little bit longer. I am hoping to just get to at least 100 pages today. If I could, I would be really happy with that because I realistically have all day tomorrow to read during the day, and then I'm doing reading sprints with my patrons in the evening. So tomorrow has a really good possibility of being like a heavy reading day. day, so I'm kind of giving myself some grace today because I did a lot and I had a productive day. I really didn't sit down and relax except for at the coffee shop, and that time was really nice. So even though my soft goal was 200, I would be happy with 100. So that's what I'm gonna try to go accomplish. I also did get a special edition of a certain book in the mail today, but it is too late for me to muster up the energy to set up my camera and show you. So we will do that tomorrow. In the meantime, I'm gonna go brush my teeth and start reading. Okay, good night.
I'll let you go, just need some time. At your own pace, you need to find your way. I know now you'll never change your mind for something that matters to me. You do not know what I have in mind. I packed our bags, we'll be on our way.
I have to be very careful where I move my face. Not very many safe places on this sleeper porch. But hi, hello. It is now Thursday evening, almost 7 p.m. actually. I haven't done a whole lot of vlogging today, as you can obviously tell. I've been fighting for my life on the couch. I'm being dramatic, but truly, like, my cramps have just been like so bad today. Could feel them from my lower back all the way down to like my ankles. So I was truly just like couch locked, reading all day, not moving. But then it got to the point around like 4 p.m. where I was like, I feel like not moving is making everything worse. So I did end up working out, which I do think actually helped. And now I'm running some sprints over on my Patreon, so that is going on at the moment. After I film this little update, I'm gonna go back to reading, but I all day have been reading Wrath and another book that I started, but I read almost 220 pages I have read today, and I'm really proud of that. I do want to keep going. Since this is the final book in the series, there's not so much that I can talk about within the story and plot, but what I can say is that I am going to be absolutely devastated when it's over. I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life when I don't have these characters anymore. Truly, like, I have adopted them as my own family. I'm like actively sad thinking about not reading this series anymore. But yeah, so this is going well, loving my time. Same with every single other book in this series. If you're wondering what the story is about, the first book in this series is Malice, and it is following the idea that years and years ago there was this god war where demons, angels, men, women, giants, and like creatures, you know, like worms and things called dregs, things like that, were fighting in this god war, is what they called it, across the banished lands. And there was a prophecy, prophesized, right, that there would be another god war one day, and this series is about that god war. So this is like very high fantasy, a huge cast of characters following all of these different people from different realms within this world, and it's very much war, politics, little bit of magic, and it's so brilliant. I could see why this series wouldn't be for everyone, because it's very much of like a journey series mixed with a lot of battle and a lot of gore. But truly, the vibes are Skyrim. That is what I attach this series to. So while I've been reading this series, I have just been listening to Skyrim ambiance on YouTube, and it's been phenomenal. What a great reading experience. If you hear whistling, I'm sorry. It's the windows on the sleep reports are absolute butt. They're not good. We have to replace them one of these days. But in addition to Wrath, I also started Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I wanted some sort of lighthearted romance, and I wanted to read The Final Offer. The Final Offer by Lauren Asher, but it doesn't have an audiobook, and I wanted to listen to an audiobook while I was working out. And Part of Your World came in on Libby this morning. So I was like, okay, fine. Perfect opportunity. Downloaded that, started that while I was working out. I'm about 10% of the way in, and I am loving it. It's giving me very much like Emily Henry vibes, and I say that because Emily Henry is one of my favorite romance romance authors. I haven't read too many different romance authors, I don't think. I think by now I guess I could say that I have, since if you saw my stats video, romance has been my second most popular genre this year, which I'm very surprised by, to say the least. But yeah, I haven't read by Abby Jimenez yet, and I just hauled 2 more of her books recently, and I haven't even read this first one. So I'm excited to continue because I'm really enjoying the characters already. I'm enjoying the situation at hand. I love that our one main character, the female, I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's older than the male love interest, which I also don't remember his name. So like, am I paying attention? Yes, I promise I am, but all I know is that he has a baby goat and he lives in this very, very small town. Like all of like 350 people know each other, and she is either a physician's assistant or a doctor at this hospital that has this legacy with her family. Her family does a lot for the hospital, and there's obviously a lot of family drama with that whole situation that I'm sure I'm gonna learn about in detail a little bit more. But basically, she is someone, our main character, who I again can't remember her name, I'm so sorry, and I don't have my phone so I can't search it. And actually both of our main characters just got out of relationships, and the book opens with our female main character swerving out of the way of a raccoon on some road in the middle of nowhere, so her car needs to get towed, and our other male main character comes in and helps her tow her car out of the ditch. And ultimately they both end up at the same like only bar that's open. She was trying to get some dinner, but nothing that the bar was serving was like sounding good to her, and the situation in which she actually ends up going home with him for him to cook her some dinner is really funny, really great. I'll leave that for you to read if you actually want to pick up the book, because it was fun. It was a cute little interaction, and I'm just really loving how the characters are written, and I'm loving the drama and mess already. So I am very excited. I'm happy that I picked it up and excited to continue to read it. I have to find my physical copy. I have no idea where it's at. It's in one of the many boxes of books that are littered throughout the house. But for now I have it on audiobook, which is a-okay with me. And that's been my day. Honestly, I've just been, you know, in pain and reading. What's new? So I'm gonna go back downstairs, finish my skincare. I was letting my retinol oil seep into my skin before I moisturize. So I'm gonna go moisturize and then sit on the couch and keep reading. Eventually Caleb and I will make dinner. No idea what we're eating yet. We'll figure it out, and I'll see you so soon.
The night was long as I waited without a sign. 'Cause I know what matters to you. But what do you want? What's your biggest need? Every hour we spend together, and suddenly the chances are small, just like the lottery.
It has been quite a few days. This vlog was supposed to be like a 4-day soiree and it turned into whatever it has become. So I thought I would just come on and kind of close it out and give you my like final thoughts and reviews on the books that I had mentioned talking about in this here vlog. I just finished, maybe like 5 minutes ago, Wrath by John Gwynne. I also finished Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This one I read in like literally a day and a half, but this one will come second. So very quickly, I am unwell. This is the 4th and final book of the Faithful and the Fallen series by John Gwynne. These characters truly have become like a staple in my mental space, and I am genuinely so upset that I no longer am able to live with these characters anymore. I know I could reread the series, and I honestly wouldn't even put it past me to do that sometime in the future. I've spent so much time with all of them, and this book was devastating. Also very, you know, uplifting and happy in some regards. But yeah, wow. This was a really great conclusion to the series. All 4 of these books for me have been 4 or 5 stars. I mean, not even 4 or 5. I've given every single book 5 stars. And is that like technically valid? I don't know. I didn't read this with a critical eye. I read this whole series as sort of of like an all immersive experience because it is such a journey and high fantasy war story where you truly get to know the ins and outs of every single character. There's literally like between 5 and 10 pages of characters just in the beginning of this final book. There's a lot going on, a lot to keep track of, and it's impressive because I could not even imagine how difficult it was for John Gwynne to keep all of the different storylines straight, and when they would cross paths, it was so much fun. This series definitely is not for everyone though. Let me just say it right now. This series is for people who really love high fantasy storylines with a lot of political intrigue, a lot of war and battle tactics. There are more battle scenes and gore and sort of violence in this series than I had been expecting, but I also like, I don't think I had any expectations, to be honest anyways, but this is very much of a journey sort of fantasy story. The magic system and the plot between all of the different realms, they are so intricate, and there is so much going on that it is hard to keep it straight sometimes, but if you love that sort of effort and idea about being in a fantasy world like this, just think Skyrim, basically. Like this is for you. If that sounds like exhausting, because it is exhausting. The last like 200 pages were just like obviously the climax of all 4 books, you know, like it was exhausting because there was so much battle and there was so many things coming to a head, all of these things unraveling and coming to light, and it's exhausting, but it was so worth it. And I literally am like, I could cry because it sounds so silly. I just loved it. I loved the series with my whole entire heart, and I'm so sad it's over, but I'm so happy that I read it. And I need to thank Erin from Booked and Busy, because I don't know if I ever would have read this series, or Malice, the very first book in this series, if it weren't for her, because Erin made me do it. I read her favorite books for a video, and Malice was one of them, and I fell in love with the series by page 26 of Malice. 26. I was head over heels in love with it, and here I am finally finishing the series. So thank you, Erin, for putting it on my radar, and I'm forever changed. I cannot believe it's over. I'm gonna need a minute to like gather my emotions. Truly, wow. I just like don't even like putting it down. I don't even like that I just put it down. Okay, I do want to talk about Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, because I did talk about starting this in the last section of this vlog. I believe I did, in order to kind of like transition into thinking about different things other than Faithful and the Fallen. I wanted to show you a special edition that I got from Fairy Loot. I have not read it. It's a special edition of Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. I couldn't not buy it. I really wish I wasn't how I am, but I had to, once I saw those sprayed edges, like, do you even understand? I had to do it. It's so pretty. Hello? Absolutely stunning. I've heard some mixed things about this book. I'm not gonna lie. I've heard that the writing is a style that I really enjoy, sort of like poetic and lyrical, but I've also heard some of the like steamy scenes are a little bit cringy, so we'll see how it goes. But regardless, I have not yet purchased a copy of this book, and this one was just too pretty to pass up. So now I have a copy that I'm very excited to own, and hopefully I end up really loving this book. That's the hope. But okay, let's chat about Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez, because this book I've had on hold for audiobook on Libby for months. You know, it's a very, very popular book. And it finally came in randomly on the day that I had started it, whatever day the last clip was, when I had mentioned that I was like 9 or 14% of the way in. Originally that day I was sitting here reading Wrath, and I wanted to work out, but for whatever reason I wasn't in the mood to listen to music. I don't know, that doesn't happen often, but I was like, I really just want to listen to a romance book while I work out. I feel like listening to a story. And the universe smiled down upon me and said, here's your hold for Part of Your World on Libby. And it was like it was meant to be. So obviously I picked it up and started listening to it. Immediately fell in love. All right, so I was nervous about this book going into it. I'm not even nervous. I just like kind of rolled my eyes at it just because of the baby goat. All right, like it is just, I feel like baby goats are a very cliche like thing that is almost like romanticized. It's like, oh, it's a baby goat, like they're so cute. And yes, but also Caleb worked on a farm for a while. All right, and the goats that live on this farm are like, they free roam during the day, but how goats are is they just poop anywhere. They just poop literally anywhere. And there were so many times that Caleb's tools and things that he's been trying to work on, these goats would just walk on and start pooping everywhere. And so it's sort of like a bittersweet thing, you know. It's like baby goats are super cute, but they're also very aggravating. So whenever I hear like, oh, they have a baby goat, I'm always like, yeah, they're cute, but like, are they? So when I heard that this book had a main character who had a baby goat, I was like sort of over it already. I don't know. It was very, I don't know if judgmental, maybe judgmental. It was judgmental of me, but happy to say it was actually a very small part of the story and it was perfectly placed and not overused. And I appreciated that about it. But this story was everything I could have ever wanted. All right. This book follows Alexis and Daniel, and Alexis comes from this long lineage of Montgomerys, right? They are doctors. They have this long lineage of working at this particular hospital and climbing up in the ranks and, you know, doing all of these like important things. And Daniel lives in a small town, very small town. He also has a long-standing lineage in this town, and their paths collide. And ultimately, Alexis sees how different life could be by living in a smaller town, by letting go of all of the expectations and horrible relationships that she has with like her father and her ex-boyfriend, fiance, whatever, ex-whoever. We don't like him, okay? We don't like him. But this was truly one of my favorite romances I've ever read in my entire life, all right? Abby Jimenez and Emily Henry are like neck and neck right now, all right? I don't know about neck and neck, but Abby Jimenez, like I'm gonna read more works from her, and maybe Emily will have a run for her money in my heart and soul, because this book was phenomenal. Not only was the romance amazing, I loved that she was older than him, he was a golden retriever. They both have their trauma and their baggage, right? But their relationship was just so great to read. And one thing that I really, really loved about this story was how well Abby Jimenez wrote the heartbreak portion of the story. The heartbreak portion of a romance is really important for me because it sort of sets the stage of like how worth it everything is. You know what I'm saying? The time period that these characters went through, the breakup or like the, you know, heartbreak portion where no one's happy. It was a perfect length. It was very deep, very raw, very real. It felt like it was written by someone who knew that exact feeling. And therefore I felt the exact feeling. I felt the heartbreak. Like I was transported into a different time when I was going through something, you know. It was so great. Writing was impeccable. The small town vibes, amazing. Chemistry, off the charts, loved it. And I am just so excited to read more from Abby Jimenez. I already have other books on hold for the audio on Libby. I have purchased 2 other books from this author and full steam ahead. I'm really excited to continue into her works because this was great. 5 out of 5. But those are the books that I mentioned that I was going to be reading in this vlog. Sort of a scattered ending because it has been a couple days, but I wanted a cohesive, you know, these are the books that I read this week in its entirety. So that's it. I hope that you enjoyed. Thank you so much for being here and hanging out with me for a little bit. If you are still watching, then leave the goat emoji down below in the comments. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe and like the video. I always appreciate your support. And of course, be kind to one another and happy reading. Bye.